Good morning, amazing world. It's Steve coming at you here with another Fired Up Friday networking tip. And, I'm going to go on the theme of telling some stories here. So forgive me here in advance. Hopefully you'll enjoy them. And I want you to know that I'm only telling stories not to glorify, kind of me, but I want you to maybe get inspired. I know I learn and relate most to stories than I do to teaching points per se. So, some of you guys know I have a martial arts background, started training in '83. And the way our school worked is, and I think a lot of martial arts studios work like this, where you line up in rank order, right? So I was the brand new white belt, and I was at the very end, and it went in progression. In our style, it's white, green, purple, brown, black, and then different levels of black belt. And my instructor, amazing man. Kind of like he played football, basketball, big burly dude, drill instructor type. He would bark orders at you. And in our school, in our style, if you so as much as wipe the brow of sweat, drop and give me 50 push-ups, he'd bark at you. It was pretty intense, right? So I remember lining up, and my instructor would do what we call in Japanese kihon, which is basics, and we'd be doing our stuff. And it's interesting, right? I would notice that people would, when he would go to the end of the line away from us, people would kind of slack off a little bit. They wouldn't give it their all. But I don't know what made me do this, but I made a commitment to myself that I was going to give it all. No matter whether he was looking at me or not, whether anyone was looking at me or not, I was going to give it my all. And I would be that way. I also made a commitment just to always show up. I remember one time I was sick. Quite a few times I'd sick. And I would say, let me just come to show, because he took attendance. I don't know why. I didn't want to be one of the ones who wasn't showing up. So I showed up. And I would say, I'll just come to class and maybe I'll just watch. And then I would okay, I'm here. Let me just put my uniform, my gi on. And I'm like, okay, well, let me at least get on the mat and do a little bit of basics in the beginning of class. And by the end of the class, I felt great. Now, obviously, that's not, today in the workout world with, the way we know about health, that's not what we do today. But that was what we did back then, or at least what I did. And I just worked my buns off. And my sensei had his favorites. And, I was just quietly working, quietly working, right? And yes, did it bother me a little bit that he had his favorites and I wasn't mentioned? Yeah, a little bit, but I just kept working. And the truth is, and when I started training, there was a guy named John who wound up becoming one of my mentors in the martial arts, really good man. And when he trained, he actually went for his black belt. He had been training, I believe, somewhere around 10 years before I even joined. And he went for his black belt test. It blew my mind, locked me in for sure. It was amazing. I was like, I want to be part of this elite team. But he joined, and 3 months later, I joined 3 months later, he went for black belt. By the time I kind of backed away from the arts and from that school and from that system, he had been 5th degree black belt. I was 4th. I passed everybody. And I attribute that not just to me, but just to the principle of consistency, persistency, not quitting, and working my buns off. I practiced probably more than anyone. I just did more than anyone was willing to do. And so that's my message today. If you're willing to do more than what everyone else is doing and willing to be consistent, I'm listening to a new Simon Sinek book, The Infinite Game, phenomenal. And it talks about, the way you win the game is you just never quit. You never give up. You keep going. You just keep playing. And that's been my mindset, man. Just keep going, stay consistent, don't give up. And I believe my feeling, and I've seen it in many parts of my life, if you keep going, do the work, make sure you have a mentor in your life, that you got some guidance, you're not just doing it blindly, but if you have the right guidance and you do the work and you don't quit, you will win. So consistency, work your buns off, and you will see the reward. It won't come overnight, right? It took me 3.5 years to make black belt. Most of the people in my school took them 10 years, but I did it in 3.5. There were some other people in my class. My wife took 10. We had another guy, Phil, in our class. I think he took about 20. But if you don't quit, you win. So that's my message for you today. I know it's not necessarily a networking tip per se, but it is, because obviously if you just keep going, you know, whether it feels good or not, you will win. Have a great and amazing day. Steve coming at you here, Fired Up Friday. Take care.